I took a trip to Niagara Falls and Toronto back in November and saw some intriguing things. One of those things happened to be the inside of one of the most unique airports and airlines in North America. Welcome to Toronto City Billy Bishop International Airport, one of the few places that requires a boat to get to the terminal. But as interesting as that plot point is, today we are focusing on flying one of the last remaining commercial Dash 8 Q400s in service on this continent. Porter Airlines is a fun little boutique airline based right here in Toronto. They operate a number of short hops around both Canada and the US, including my flight today heading to Ottawa. Our aircraft today is registration C-GKQE, a 14-and-a-half-year-old Q400 delivered straight to Porter almost exactly 14 years from the day of travel, November 28, 2011. It's a bit of a squeeze on board with 78 explicit T-seat E2 seats in a 2-2 configuration. My home for the next 47 minutes is seat 4A, with 30 inches of pitch, 17 inches of width, and not a single inch of recline. The seat pocket comes with a variety of content, including an Inflight magazine, which is not a common sight. This is my first time on a Dash 8 in over 10 years. I believe the last time I flew on one was on Alaska Airlines from San Jose to Boise back in what was probably 2014 or 15. These little buggers are not the most luxurious, but are easily one of the most fun aircraft to fly nowadays.
Your seatbelt is fastened by inserting the metal clip into the buckle. Adjust to fit tightly around your hips. To release the seatbelt, lift the buckle's upper portion and pull apart. Une carte sur les mesures de sécurité se trouve dans la pochette devant vous.
Pushing back from the gate, this airport is exclusively served by Dash 8s, which definitely limits its route capabilities, but for short-haul flights, it's easily one of the most convenient airports I've ever seen. I quite literally walked here from a restaurant downtown, hopped on the boat, and was checked in pretty quickly. Founded in February of 2006, Porter Airlines is celebrating 20 years of flying this year, making the timing of this video on my channel quite fitting. You know what else is quite fitting? Leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. I make flight reviews of airlines around the globe, and I can't do it without your support. A big thanks to all of you who have joined the LegitScore Club, our channel membership, who have access to special features such as early access, extra content, and a say in the decisions I make on this channel. If this interests you, be sure to join today. When booking this flight, I flew with one of my friends who sat on the other side of the aircraft. The goal was to get a shot of downtown from the runway, but without knowing the winds and whatnot ahead of time, we both had our cameras ready. As it turns out, I chose correctly, and everyone on the left side of the aircraft were blessed with an awesome view. Now that we are in the air, I took the time to enjoy the incredible view of the engine, a sight I don't know if or when I'll see in person again. My trip consisted of 2 flights, Toronto to Ottawa and Ottawa to Vancouver. With my focus of earning strategic miles, I booked this flight via Alaska Airlines website for a total of $132.63 US or $183.64 Canadian. Alaska's Atmos Rewards is one of the few remaining worthwhile mileage plans that determine earnings off of distance traveled versus dollars spent, which gave me 109 points for this flight specifically, or 1,216 points total for the trip. Obviously, if I were to have the credit card or status, that number might be higher, but for now I am pretty satisfied. For less than $150, I traveled across the country with only a single minimal connection. There's something to be said about flying above the sunset, the golden light on the clouds, and a propeller going faster than my camera would have preferred. Even though this flight had no Wi-Fi, IFE, or power outlets, I was entertained the whole time, just glued to my window. And now we bring you to today's sponsored shot from the host of the channel series Burning Miles, sitting in the back of the plane on the other side. With this flight being so short, the cabin crew wasted no time starting the in-flight service. Lucky me, sitting in one of the first few rows of the all-economy cabin, had quite the selection. Today I decided to go with a bag of chips and water. There were quite a variety of snacks available on this flight. I don't remember what, but I do remember being impressed. I also regret my choice of drink because if I were to have ordered a soda or specialty drink, it would have come in a glass cup, something usually only found in first class. Nevertheless, it's starting to get dark out, and As the service winds down and we get closer to the nation's capital city, it's only gonna get darker. This is my first time ever flying with Porter, and this flight alone made me excited for my connection on an E195 E2, another aircraft I'd be flying for the first time. To say I didn't book this trip specifically for these flights would be a lie. Although I really wanted to see the sights in and around Toronto, my time with Porter Airlines was definitely the cherry on top. In my opinion, that made the trip a little more worthwhile. I'm just a college kid, so spending large sums of money is not always an option outside of tuition and rent. This trip was not cheap, but I can't say that's anything to do with the flights I took. Beyond my return trip on Porter, I also scored a red-eye Air Canada 777 Transcon flight from Vancouver to Toronto for a pretty awesome price. If you want to know more about that, be sure to check out my video. So, I've made today's flight sound overall like it's a pretty awesome experience. But how does it really stack up against other regional carriers in North America if you take out the AvGeek joys of this adventure? Taking a look at the LegitScore for tonight's journey, I'm giving this seat a 7 out of 10. For a short hop, the seat was pretty comfortable. Not as spacious as what you might find on an E175, but still good. The amenities though, no adjustable headrest, no power outlets, but a full-size tray table and great snacks and drinks. Overall, a 7 out of 10. The entertainment, unfortunately, was the lowest I've officially reviewed using the score, with nothing but a magazine and a window if you're lucky. I have to give this a 2 out of 10. The service was great, check-in was a bit slow on the ground, I think a mix of stubborn passengers as well as potentially inefficient staff. The boarding process was pretty confusing too. On board though, no issues at all. 8 out of 10 for this one. The value of it all, both in price and versus the competition, an easy 10 out of 10. I had a great deal here and was still able to select my seats and get across the country. You won't find much better prices anywhere else, I don't think. Lastly, the cleanliness. I didn't get a chance to use the lavatory, but in terms of seat and cabin cleanliness, I would give this an easy 5 out of 5. Overall, the flight today scored lower than usual, 71%. It looks great in the pictures, but when you read the fine print, it's lacking in quite a few areas.
towards you. Please remain seated with the seatbelt securely fastened and cabin baggage secured until the aircraft has reached a final stop and the captain has switched off the fastened seatbelt sign. The movement of the aircraft. We remind you that smoking is not permitted until you are in a designated smoking area.
Welcome to Ottawa, another city in which I will still not be able to say I've been to because I only have a short connection here at the airport. My flight today was uneventful as usual. I really enjoyed it for what it was and will definitely be looking for opportunities in the future to fly on one of these turboprops again. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and follow my Instagram at legitimate_aviation. Be sure to tune in next time when I fly Air Canada 787-9 from Vancouver to Shanghai on another episode of Burning Miles. Until then, thanks for watching.